How do folks, welcome to another video. So today is the day after the MOT that it failed, the Peugeot. So in the previous video I sorted out the headlight, the issues. I've also put in 2 new headlight bulbs and that should be pretty much done. I've also, where did I put it? Bought a new oil pressure switch. Now there's 2 on the Peugeots. There's a much larger, rounder one, and then there's a smaller one which indicates the light on the dash. If you unplug it, big stop comes up on the dash. So that's the part number. You can see it. So that cost about £8, I believe, £8–9. Bought it from a local motor factors. Fortunately, you can't get them from Peugeot. I phoned them up and they just don't do them anymore. So that's fitted. I'll show you that in a bit. But today what I'm working on is this. So this is the coolant header tank level sensor. So it hasn't been working. The light's always been kind of on and off on the dash. You'd unplug it, it'd work, and then it just and then I'd plug it in and it'd just be constantly on regardless. So I decided to take it apart. It's quite a serviceable item, so I'll adjust the camera and show you the basic components in order to be able to take this apart and give it a good clean and find out why it's not working. Right, so this is the sender unit. So it comes in a couple of parts. So you've got the where the switch goes in, where it plugs in. Now this has 2 little locating tabs, one there and one at the back. And the one at the back, you can see there, is a bit broken, mashed. So I think someone's been in here before. So I got mole grips just round the base there, and then my little water pump pliers, and just very carefully pop this out. Now when I pop this out, all in here, all in there, I was greeted with what can only be described as, well, nastiness. So all this, you see it there, it's kind of sticky and just, oh, very unpleasant. This was all inside there. So I think someone had tried a previous repair for some reason, and it was just absolutely coated. I'm not sure if they come like that from the factory, but because this had been broken, I suspect someone had tried just filling it full of goop in hoping that it'd work. So yeah, so sensor's out. Now found a fault with it. Here we go. So the wire's broken, you can see there, not very good. So in this piece here you've got 2 little magnets, and they kind of correspond to a switch, to a floating switch. And if you get the other piece, and if you carefully pop the bottom off, inside there you've got a float. So you've got this little float and it's got a piece of metal in there. So that corresponds with that piece there. So when the water's up nice and high, sorry, wrong way. When the water's up nice and high, it sends a signal from that magnet to say that, to tell the light to turn off, and then when it gets low, it flags the light back on the dash to say that your coolant is low and you need to top up. So inside here was a bit crusty, and inside there was full of that gunk that I just showed you. So the way I cleaned out all the gunk was good old WD-40, and very carefully used a screwdriver and just kind of scraped all that nastiness out. So it's all nice and clean in there now. And also in here there was a lot of lime scale and a bit of rustiness. So again, good old WD-40 or penetrating fluid, sprayed it in there. Now you've got some holes, one there, one the other side, and also one on the base. There we go. So that lets the water flow into here and allows this float to move freely up and down, obviously with the level of the water. So I've taken it apart, given it a good clean. I need to solder this wire back on. Now you're probably thinking, why don't I just buy another one? Well, I don't believe that you can still buy these, and to be fair, the fact that you can take it apart means that you can fix it. So I'm going to solder that wire back on and then put it all back together, but unfortunately I can't do that at the moment because I've not got my soldering kit with me. So yeah, that is the basics of the Peugeot 205 water level sensor. And there we go, you can see it in there, nice and shiny, just there. Takes again 22mm socket, deep socket, which you need. And then the other one, you can just see that's the other one. I might end up replacing that because that wasn't too bad, but to be fair, it seems to be okay with the oil pressure gauge. But I think that's about 20 odd pounds. I might just end up ordering a new one anyway, just so it looks a bit better, really. But yeah, new headlight bulb is in. This is now secure. Before it was, again, like I say in the previous video, it was very wobbly. And that is really the only things. Oh, topped up the brake fluid as well, so that's all done and dusted. It's probably a little bit too high, but it's better to have a little bit too high than not enough. And yeah, there we go. So it is booked in for its retest tomorrow, about 1 o'clock. So we'll skip to the next day right now. Right, it's the next day, and here we go. So this is all repaired, hopefully. So that just goes into there. Put that little collar on. A little bit of plastic is kind of in the way. Go on. There we go. So that screws on there like so. There we go. And then you get this little clip, and there we go. Let's connect up the old battery. Right. Where did I put the keys? Oh yeah, got them in my pocket. So here we go. Right, will the light go off? So that's the light that we need to go off. Will it? I'll give it a minute. And no. So it looks like the repair has failed, so I've got to get a new one of those sender units. To be fair, it was quite janky and gunked up, so that's a bit of a bugger that it's not worked, but hey ho, these things happen. I know that obviously it's got plenty of coolant in it, and that it does say on the MOT certificate it's got a coolant leak, and that's where I took the thermostat out the other day, which I'm going to be putting in a fresh one in, and that will sort that slight leak out. But for the time being, I'm just going to have to live with that, which is a bit of a bugger, but never mind. I will get that sorted at some point. So I've got a bit of time. Yeah, I'm not going to leave here for another 15-20 minutes, and then I'll cruise down to the MOT place, and hopefully, like I say, with all the little bits and pieces are done, it should be a good pass. Well, it's been about 2 weeks since that last clip and done a lot of procrastinating, and that's why this video out is quite late, because I did some filming, got it ready for the MOT, and it failed again on the headlight. Great, just fun. So I ended up having to try and buy a new headlight. Turns out they don't sell brand new Peugeot 205 headlights on right-hand drives, so had to repair the current light, which involved taking it apart, heating it up, taking it apart, and the reflective bowl. Ended up kind of cleaning it and then using some stretchy chrome vinyl, put it in, glued it all back together, and it worked a treat. So it's passed, and yeah, it's been quite chaotic trying to get this all sorted, but it is MOT'd now. And I tell you what, folks, I've driven it a couple of times and it's lovely. Even with the top down, it's been an absolute treat. Drives really nice. Still a few little issues to sort out. The fuel gauge is decidedly French, so it likes to suddenly, without no warning, tell me that I have no fuel, and then the needle bounces back to saying that I have fuel, but it's 30 plus years old, so I'm not going to kick it down for that. Yeah, so it's going great. So let me just give you a quick walk round and of bits that I'm doing currently, and also updates on shows that I'm going to in the near future on this month and next month. Right, first off, paint. So it's looking rather shiny. Bonnet's, yeah, great. Looks good in the photos and the pictures, but it needs another going over. So I went to see an old friend of mine called Matt, who runs a company called Myson Detailing in Burton-on-Trent. Top bloke, really good. Hadn't seen him for a few years. And basically asked him, popped down and gave his opinion on the paints and, you know, what I should do and if I could book in. Unfortunately, he's really stacked with work until the end of April, the end of August. So, but he gave me really good advice on how to get the best out of this paintwork and kind of products to use and that. So I'll show you the products I'm using. So I'm currently using this, which is Car Gods 54. It's like a T-cut. There we go, there's the back of it. And this stuff has been really good. It's brought the paintwork up to a fantastic shine. I was going to use this stuff, which some old stuff I got, but this turns out it'd be too coarse because the paintwork is really too thin. Ideally, I think I've said, I don't think I've said, I have said in the past videos, it really needs a repaint, but you know, I just want to make the best of what there is, and you know what, it's come up really good. So I've also, before I've been putting on the T-cut, I've actually been using this as well, which is the clay bar lubrication. And there's the clay bar. It's a bit manked up at the moment, but I've been using that to go over the panels first to get rid of any roughness, and then applying the that stuff over the top, leaving it to cure and letting it soak in, and it has come up an absolute treat. I've done all this side now, done the wing. The bonnet needs another hit. I did that the other week and it needs a bit more. The boot as well. Apologies for the shaky cam. So the boot's done. Haven't done the bumper yet. This rear quarter, I'm going to do that again because I put some stuff over it and wasn't happy with the finish of it. The door as well, that's all polished up. I've just cleaned that off, so I need to do the bottom, the bonnet again, and the bumpers, and then that's it for paintwork. It's pretty much done, and it's all good and gravy, as they say. So what's next for the Peugeot? Is there anything else to do? Yes, there is. Wheels. Let me show you. So the wheels kind of let the car down. The trim looks good, the roof looks good, like I say, the paint looks good, and the wheels kind of let it down. They're a bit kind of scabby and they don't clean up that good. So they are being refurbished. more on that in another video, but don't worry folks, these will be refurbished in time for a really good show. Let me tell you about that show as well. So on the 28th of July is the Festival of Unexceptional. It's a really good festival, quite a few folks. It's going to be my first time going. I've seen the clips from last year from Ian at Hubnuts and Furious Driver and iDriver Classic, Steph. And it looked like a really good show. My kind of stuff, you know, crap cars that, you know, people, you know, don't take, majority of the people don't even give a second thought of, you know, cars of the bygone era that were daily drivers and family cars, and just kind of after the few years they just get kind of thrown away and they're really getting thin on the ground. So we're going to that on the 29th. The wheels will be refurbished for that, so the Peugeot will be looking, should be looking pucker, should be looking absolutely spot on. Obviously the interior, the seats, will be a bit of a letdown, but I'm going to let the next owner sort the seats out. You know, you've got to give something to the next owner, can't make it all mint. So yeah, so be going to that. Also booked in at the Retro Rides Gathering on the 13th of August. Again, that's a really good show, went last year. Fantastic show. There's also going to be Jonny from the Late Break Show as well, from YouTube fame and Fifth Gear fame. He's going to be there, and a whole host of other people. So that's going to be really good. It's booked in. Not sure if it'll be there, because the week after that is the auction that the Peugeot is meant to be going. So it's going to be a tight one. But you know what? It is what it is, and it'd be really nice to take the Peugeot. But if it's not, then try and get something else into the show. But I've got tickets for it, so all is good. So I'll leave the video there, folks. You know, I've waffled on and off, and you've seen this face way too much now. Next video will hopefully be at some shows or whatever. I have got a video coming up of a show that I went to the other week at Mark Eaton Park in Derby. Again, really good classic car show, variety of stuff there. And yeah, so until next time, folks, have a good one. Give the video, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up or a thumbs down, you know, that's up to you. Like and subscribe. Put a little comment in, you know, about the Peugeot, whatever, you know, I'll respond to it as well. And have a great week, and always remember, have a good one, and tidy bar.